watching from the rail.
Slight silver lining. He's got Paul covered.
Call.
Poir calls.
That's not good.
No, it is not.
Maybe I should even fold there.
Hindsight is 20/20, but not 10/10.
Busquet's a 4-1 underdog. A bigger dog now.
No ace and some backdoors. Could have been worse.
His immediate outs are the 2 remaining 10s. His only outs are the 2 10s.
You're more likely to get a 10 from the Russian judge than you are to spike one here.
A 7 on the river, and Poir doubles up through Busquet.
I almost folded too. I mean, when he did his little thing, it was so obvious. Yeah, I think a little bit, not much.
This guy down here, total tell bucks. Have those chips in a second, sir. Unreal how lucky these guys get. Nice hand, sir.
This is tank and his 3-bet.
Just if you think he goes all, like if he's just 3-betting aces and kings and then...
Yeah, I think he is, so I don't know. It's a big hand.
The master and apprentice with some post-match analysis. Meanwhile, Paul Poir is now 4th in chips, while Busquet is on life support with just 2 big blinds. But you can't give up. Igor Kurganov's already proved that. Anything can happen. He went from short stack to chip leader and is currently playing just shy of 3.9 million. So the blinds are now 30,000 and 60,000 with a 10,000 ante. He went from short stack to chip leader. Action folded to Igor Kurganov, ace-king.
Egaz, Igor, get some.
He raises from early position, makes it 125,000. Dan Cates has pocket 10s in the cutoff. Jungleman calls. Olivier Busquet calls all in from the small blind with 8-9.
Pretty much had to do that with any 2. Might have had to do it with Lowe's hand even.
Well, low folds. So Busquet's hoping to more than triple up. There's action on the side between Cates and Kurganov. Jack-9 on the flop. Cates' hand still best.
Busquet paired his 9. That's going to be frustrating.
Kurganov checks.
Doesn't continue. Why bluff a small side pot?
Cates bets 135,000.
Igor probably still likes ace-king's value, though.
He calls.
Olivier probably liking those 9s a little less now.
All he can do is sit there and just hope for the best. 7 on the turn. Kurganov checks a second time. And Cates checks behind. The river card is a 10. A full house for Cates, and poor Olivier Busquet. He rivers a straight and probably thinks it's good.
It's not.
Check.
Kurganov checks.
Cates has definitely got to bet this. Bet and pray your opponent's got king-queen.
He bets. Igor folds.
You have a full house? So sick.
And Olivier Busquet is eliminated in 8th place.
Sorry.
He walks away with 241,000 euros.
Good game, guys.
We just lost the best-dressed player at the table.
Good luck. Good game, guys. Good luck.
No doubt he'll be pulling for his good friend Dan Coleman.
And now he's got no choice but to return to his day job as a lawyer in the Deep South.
I think that's the river.
Out in 8th. Well, I object, Your Honor.
Dan Jungleman Cates is originally from Maryland in the US, but currently lives in London in the UK, and he's now playing a stack of 2.2 million after eliminating Olivier Busquet.
I thought I would do at least better. There were 4 opportunities to move up in the money, but the short stack won each time. Igor, skyrocketed up the chip stacks, so good for him. And, that big hand that I lost, it was a very difficult situation. I'm slightly regretting it now. It might be a little bit of a mistake. I think it's very close. So, I don't know. That's a tough hand.
Tougher than beating Contra without using the cheat code.
EPT. Cyril Mincy has bought the gift, Jungleman.
If that's the thing from Borat, I'm out of here. Oh, thank God.
A jungle t-shirt.
I might have to change it or break.
Now, that's what I call a t-shirt.
She once folded a full house to quads. Now they all call her Princess Laydown.
Joe Stapleton.
Got him.
Folded to Dan Coleman on the button. He's got pocket jacks.
We're finally going to get to see this kid in action.
He raises to 125,000, gets a fold from Kurganov in the small blind. Shemian in the big blind has pocket nines.
We know Coleman's got a monster, but his button range is going to be wider than the director's cut of Lawrence of Arabia, so you can certainly see why Shemian would 3-bet this.
He has re-raised.
I'm all in.
Coleman responds by moving all in.
You're kind of hoping to get it all in here till it actually happens, then they're all gulp.
Shemian has not had a lot of good fortune at this final table.
I'll get the car warmed up.
The flop gives Coleman a set, but Shemian has an open-ended straight draw.
He traded 2 outs for 8, not bad.
Give me an ace. I want an ace.
Don't be greedy.
Oh, that smile.
It's a 7 on the turn, so same outs for Shemian. A king or an 8 needed to survive.
It's all fun and games until you miss the turn, then it gets real.
And he misses the river as well.
It was a little unlucky. If the hands were reversed, it probably goes down the same way. Yeah, Dan, I'm gonna miss him too.
Ala Shemian out in 7th.
Again.
I'll miss him, but I'm sure the rest of the table won't.
Shemian cashes for over 300k, having satellited into this tournament for 10k. And Coleman, who invested 300k, is now guaranteed a decent profit. Well, if you'd like to join us here in Monaco on the European Poker Tour, find out how by visiting PokerStars.com. Welcome back to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. 6 players remain in the Super High Roller, competing for a first prize of 1.8 million euros. Blinds are up to 5,100.
Wait.
And Paul Poit has shoved from under the gun with 8-7 suited.
It's a little loose, but not that loose with his stack.
Dan Coleman in the small blind has ace-jack.
Well, if Dan knows 8-7 suited is part of Paul's shoving range, ace-jack is an obvious call.
I call.
He does call. Kurganov folds.
I don't know how Dan would know that, though. Maybe they write each other letters.
So Paul Poit at risk and way behind.
Queen.
If you say that in front of a mirror, Freddie Mercury appears.
Paul Poit now has 7 outs. Looking for a 9, 8, or 7.
Not a club.
But he bricks the river
Best play, you guys.
and is eliminated in 6th place.
I bet he just said, we're still billionaires.
Well, after eliminating Paul Poit, Dan Coleman moves over the 5 million mark.
Dan Coleman is heating up like a gas grill.
And we lose 1/3 of the Macau boys as we go 5-handed.
No, it's like when Curly died in City Slickers, only more Asian and with fewer horses.
Actions on Richard Young.
Richard Young is still here, all right.
He folds.
Oh, that's probably why.
Ronno Lowe is out. Dan Coleman's got Queen 4 offsuit on the button.
Here comes that wide button range I'm always blathering about.
This is a raise to 240,000. Kurganov folds.
Got the 10.
And Kate is calling.
It's not big enough.
The raise. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Never will be.
Actually, now I'm not so sure.
The flop is 9-8-3. Ace high still good.
And this is one of those flops you whiff so hard that you can't really check behind.
Coleman set to continue. 325,000.
Cates is going to have the best hand here against a button raise and a c-bet a bunch of the time, so he's probably going to peel like a delicious jungle banana.
Kate's calls. The turn card is the deuce of hearts. Coleman now has a flush draw. Kate's is still ahead with ace high.
Firing again just got a lot more appealing now that Coleman would be semi-bluffing instead of tota bluffing.
720,000 and Kate's faults.
I can see why they call him Jungle Man now. Her suit. For Dan Coleman, it was a good spot for a multi-street bluff. On the flop, there are actually a decent number of backdoors to hit.
You got me, Mr. Greeny.
That's Coleman's online handle.
Coming for you, Jungle. You're big blind.
So what do we actually know about Mr. Greeny?
My name's Daniel Coleman. I'm 23. I'm a professional poker player. I mainly play online heads-ups and goes. I have a really good grind where I get great action. Every now and then I want to do something just to change it up a bit. So I come play a super high roller, just 1 or 2 a year. I was on the rail watching Olivier Bousquet play heads up sit and goes, and I was calling out his cards in certain spots, and every now and then I was right. We exchanged contact information, then he coached me a bit, then later on he gave me a stake.
I staked him for a little bit and I taught him a little bit, and then he became very good, and I actually have probably learned more from him than he's learned from me.
I don't think he regrets teaching me at all. He's like a brother to me.
He's probably my closest friend as a poker player. I see him kind of as a younger brother.
He's definitely happy for my success, and if he doesn't win, I'm sure he wants me to.
They do look like they could be brothers, and if you're wondering where Olivier's suit went, it's now Dan's hand-me-down.
Daniel Cates raises under the gun. And Ronolo shoves with King 9 on the button. Kurganov's got Ace-Jack in the big blind. And he calls.
That's usually a fold to a raise and a shove, provided one of the people isn't Ronno Low.
So Ronolo, who started the day as chip leader, is now at risk. But he's got 2 live cards. He's not that far behind.
And he's got a live suit.
Nut flush draw for Low. Kurganov ahead with top pair.
Suit.
8
Nut
out
flush
for
draw
Ronno
for Low.
Low. Kurganov ahead with top pair. And he needs to hit one of them on the river.
Oh, red card, what a tease. Suit.
8
Nut
out
flush
for
draw
Ronno
for
Low.
Low.
Low misses and he's
Kurganov ahead
out.
with top
And he
pair.
needs to hit one of them on the river.
Oh, red card, what a tease.
Eliminated in 5th.
Suit.
8 out for Ronno Low. Low misses and he's out. And he needs to hit one of them on the river.
Oh, red card.
Another Macau boy bites the dust.
Coming for to carry me home.
The jungle's getting closer and closer.
4, then 3. Heads up, we're all screwed.
Who is the chip leader? You? Is it?
Yeah, he is chip leader. Warning, jungle is approaching.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got the t-shirt to prove it.
Pocket 5s for Dan Coleman. He